Hi, guys. We are super excited to be back in the swing of things with our Frank Fridays. And I have my wonderful co-host here, Carlina Moeller of Art Frankly.
Hi, guys.
We're super excited because we have Agustina Ferreyra, who is the owner and the founder of Galería Agustina Ferreyra, her eponymous gallery in Mexico City and in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I think she's joining us today from Puerto Rico. So it's nice to have you here today, Agustina.
Hola, thank you for having me.
We are very, very excited. And so I think we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. So why don't I kick us off with the first question? We're curious to hear, Agustina, what keeps driving you forward in the art world?
I think what keeps driving me forward in life, which is basically to learn more about me through others. So learning how to be better, expanding my ideas through the work of other people, that really keeps me going. And I think art does that in a way that is very beautiful, regardless of markets and fairs and galleries. Just art does that for humanity. So it's a nice place to go and like dive in and think about life and ideas and all these abstract things that are really important.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, one of the things that we often talk about is, art it kind of captures a sense of time and place and space as well, and history. So I think not only do you get to have kind of an intellectual pursuit, but there's a beautiful sense of, what is the zeitgeist and, what are kind of the schools of thought. So I could see that being an amazing driving force.
Yeah, and ultimately it's something that makes you feel connected to society. It makes you feel connected to history, to humanity. It's something that sometimes I'm looking at a work of art, maybe from another century, or like I pull up an image, or I'm in a museum or like on Instagram, and I'm like, whoa, we are like, you feel, it's kind of, I don't want to sound like a hippie, but you feel kind of like the rhizome, like you feel the blob. You're like, oh, this is it. Like this is life. It's amazing. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it is indeed. And so I think we all understand that with opportunity comes great challenge. And so I'm curious to hear, what is one challenge that you welcome in your day-to-day, either in your professional life or your kind of art going life? What is one challenge that you do welcome?
That I welcome. I would have to say that now that the gallery is 10 years old and I'm older as well, I think frustration is something I welcome, because I learned a lot about me and I learn a lot about others when I'm frustrated. And so I've actually been feeling very proud lately because I've been able to like navigate frustration with much more poise and calmness and like togetherness, and actually being like, separating things that you can control from things that you can't, and kind of like finding solutions within that. So frustration is something I welcome. And it becomes an obstacle when you're working, when it comes to like logistics or general incompetence or cash flow, or things that are really like everyday challenges in a gallery or like in any other business. So I'm like, yeah, I think that's something that I welcome more and more, because being frustrated doesn't always mean that the problem will find a solution. And so it's kind of something you just have to sit with for a moment and think about.
Excellent. I love that answer too. I think having more patience for that frustration is key. Is definitely key to a successful and happy workplace. So our next question is, who keeps you inspired in your personal and professional life?
Oh, without a doubt, my kid. Without a doubt. I mean, I know it's kind of like the obvious answer for many of us who are parents. But I'm a single mom. I only have one kid. She's 11. She started middle school this week. And she's been part of this journey a lot. Like, she's pretty much the reason I decided to open the gallery. Because when I was pregnant, I was like, where am I going to go? Where, like, what do I need to do? I felt this terrible sense of urgency, as if I needed to do something larger and bigger than me. And so I decided to open the gallery, and she brings so much joy to my life, and she teaches me so much about everything, even patience. She's my biggest teacher of that particular quality or virtue. I also find a lot of inspiration in my friends, and I love to keep all sorts of people around me, not just art world people. And so I really enjoy and feel inspired by people who do things that are very different from what I do. I think that's truly enriching. So I would say, again, the other alterity keeps me inspired. Yeah, writers. I have friends who are like actresses or filmmakers or fashion designers, or, you know, they just work in advertisement, or architects, and I think they make my life very colorful and rich, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think it would be so boring to have only art world friends, like so narrow. It would be it would be too narrow. Yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
friends and my kid.
Those are great answers. And I think, you know, having friends in other creative industries informs what we do in the art world. And that's so important. Our next question, you're actually in two of the locations that I'm dying to go to these days, San Juan and Mexico City, two of my favorite places. But if you could go anywhere, Agustina, what would be your far-flung arts destination right now?
I would say Asia, just because I haven't been enough to Asia. I've only been to Japan, and it was for work, but not when I had the gallery. I used to run an artist studio back in the early 2000s, and the artists participated at the Yokohama Triennial, and so we had to kind of like move there for a month and a half to produce the work for the biennial, and it was a wonderful experience, life-changing in so many ways. But now, as a gallerist, I would love to visit, I would say probably Hong Kong and Korea. And I know that like everybody's doing it, and it feels like very much of the moment. And maybe that's why I'm interested. But also, I haven't done it because I don't usually just like follow the trends of where are the places we should go. I usually decide to go places when they feel important and I have a reason, or when I'm invited, or there is like a particular excuse. And it seems like a lot of people are just following the money right now there, which is probably a very business savvy decision. And I'm not necessarily the best or the savviest in terms of that. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm still a very small gallery. And so I have to choose wisely the things I do and why I do them and when I do them. And so I feel that Asia is something that needs a lot of commitment and a bigger team and like a very strategic plan, or at least that's how I see some other colleagues that I admire do it. They do it with a commitment, with respect, and not just like an extractivist kind of approach that you just go there, do a couple fairs, cash in quickly, and then never come back, and you don't create relationships. That's kind of not the approach I like to have, but I would absolutely love to go for sure. So maybe I can just try and like visit some friends first before getting involved.
So our last question is, if you could change one thing about the art world, what would it be and why?
Oh, just one? I would change so many.
The most pressing.
Most pressing. Definitely, okay, two. Less egos. Way less ego. And way less carbon footprint. I think those two things are huge. huge egos, and a huge, terrible carbon footprint that we just need to somehow crack and get rid of. Is ridiculous. Both of those things are.
That's a good tie. I can understand why you can't choose one of them.
It's a good tie. Yeah. Yeah, those would be it.
I love, we have like a personal quality from, you know, the kind of the human capital, if you will, of the art world that needs to change. And then we have a very physical and a very tangible prescient need as well. So, well, Agustina, this has been absolutely amazing. We were very, very excited to spotlight you. And now you have us wanderlusting for San Juan and for Mexico City. So
come visit both places. You'll be very welcome.
I think, yes.
Sorry, I have a cough.
It's okay. I think it's par for the course these days. Well, Agustina, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure, and we're very excited to shed a little light on your gallery and your activities, and certainly your vibrant persona. So thanks so much for taking the time today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Agustina. Thank you.
Take care.